Look, I know I'm meant to have some really fucking slick and cool hook for the beginning of a YouTube video, right? But I just don't, right? If you are a 100 to 300K per month marketing agency owner, or want to get to 100 to 300K per month in a marketing agency owner, or give a fuck really. If you're a business owner who wants to get to 1 million to 3 million a year, right? You're probably here because you want to learn how to get there, or you are there and you want to get to the way bigger edge to be able to get more time back for yourself, an absurd amount of money for yourself, or just to crush more fucking goals for yourself, right? And I don't have a cool intro. I don't have anything like that. But what I do know is that if you've been around for a while, right, and you realize that at this current date right now, the 28th of November, 2025, if you guys aren't experiencing more fucking annoyances on sales calls with people who don't trust you, who have realized that we're in a trust recession, who've been burnt by people fucking just like you in the past, if you guys have not yet realized that sales no longer happen on the fucking sales call, and you guys are already fucking behind, right? The sale is decided way before the sales call, but most fucking idiots out there are still running their business like it's 2018, hoping that a closer will rescue a cold, confused lead who doesn't even know what fucking day it is half the time, let alone the offer you guys are trying to get out to sell them on. And in this video, without the cool introduction, whatever the fuck it is, I'm going to break down exactly how we can engineer buyers from the ad to the DMs to the pre-call content. So by the time they get to the call, they've already decided they want to fucking work with you. Should work out the logistics and the how and how to do that instead of trying to fucking wrestle through everything and act like a fucking idiot, right? So today we're going to talk about how to brainwash. You'll love my graffiti handwriting. For those who don't know, I did a lot of this shit when I was younger, right? How to brainwash your leads into wanting to show up to buy, right? Now, I have been selling online for the fat end of a decade, and I've brought in about 5 million in sales myself for my own company, Predictable Sales, which has a consulting offer and a agency offer inside of it. Prior to that, I've done about 40 million online in distribution sales, selling big sales team offerings into the sports nutrition distribution world, and have a lot of experience actually making real money in the real world, not just online at the same time as well. And all the lessons I've learned have come from getting someone from I have no fucking clue who you are into a buying state and getting them to say, take a lot of my money very fucking quickly. And over the past couple of years, I've worked with, it's got to be close to 600 marketing agencies in particular. And the things we typically tend to work with them on are, all the typical things, right? Like get clients, build teams, scale acquisition, all the goodies that, your average marketing agency would care about, doing that, building wealth, having a great life, and not hating your fucking life, and not having your wife hate you through the whole process as well. And there's a couple of things I've learned after working with 600 of them and having over 30 of them hit $100,000 a month, and a absurd amount of them hit 50K per month, and God knows how many hitting 10, 20, and $30,000 a month as well. So the lessons that I do teach to you come from a wealth of experience doing that without the cool introduction that I don't have down pat just yet. I do have a fuckload of experience of working with people on these problems to be able to brainwash their fucking target market to be able to want to buy before they get to the sales call as well. And what I'm going to walk through today for you guys is three things. We're going to walk through what your ads need to look like, what your content needs to look like, and what your actual sales process from the DM all the way through to the sales call itself, what that needs to look like in order to engineer a process where someone who is cold and has never in their life seen you before would go, I want to pay you 10. So in some cases, I've seen people pay $100,000 paid in full upfront because they believed that the problem could get solved. And today I want to start with you talking about the whole process. But in order to be able to get someone to show up to a call, we first need to be able to find someone who fucking know who we are, right? Now, most people, again, idiots, people who are not rich, people who are still living like it's 2018, people who are still trying to figure out how to make a fucking dollar, right? Or sadly, some people who already have learned how to make a dollar but are currently struggling trying to work out how to scale up to the $1 million, $3 million, $5 million per year, right? They are struggling thinking that sales still happen on the call. So they are trying to learn how to objection handle. Forgive my terrible fucking handwriting there. They're trying to learn how to objection handle. They're trying to learn how to have a great sales team. Now, I'm not against sales teams. I have one. It's fucking great. We talk about objection handling all the fucking time. Way less than we used to, but we talk about it all the time. We work with our clients to bring sales teams in. We work with our clients on and their sales teams on objection handling. But guess what? The issue is, if this is all you focus on, then you burn your fucking team out. And you end up in a position where they no longer want to be there anymore. And because they don't want to be there anymore, you have a business that is stacked on a house of cards based on how much your sales team feel good that day. No matter how good your culture is, no matter how good you feel, no matter what is going on. If you have not got a marketing heavy business to help support the sales organization, you'll always be at the peril of dealing with leads who have no clue who the fuck you are, which makes your sales team job really fucking hard. And as a consequence of making your sales team jobs really hard, they fall into burnout and have to go and find Jesus, which is honestly quite a good thing. But the way that they do it is they go through an ayahuasca retreat or whatever it is to, avoid the responsibility of life because they're burnt out. And if it's not your sales team, it's usually you, right? So you end up being the one at burnout. We don't want that for you in any way, shape, or form, right? So you need to have a business that is marketing heavy to make sales easy. It doesn't mean you don't want to have a strong sales organization. I am a massive proponent. I've got many videos on this channel right now talking about how to build a world-class sales organization, because that's what will actually take you to being able to sell your marketing services, your consulting services, whatever the fuck it is you actually choose to sell, and be able to turn it into a systemized machine that will actually spit cash out week in, week out, month in, month out, all the goodies that come along with that as well. But in order to make the sales organization's job really easy, because you should actually own a sales organization that sells, marketing services, or a sales organization that sells consulting, or a sales organization that sells insert whatever the hell it is that you are trying to sell into the market, and get them to buy into your beliefs, adopt what it is that you would like to do, and pay you a fuckload of money so you can, of course, go and buy another cool car, because you've probably got one right now, or go and buy more investment properties, because you've probably, if you haven't already purchased one right now, I know you've been thinking about that for a really long fucking time. And essentially, just make sure that your wife is like really, really off your back about the cash flow, right? Always things you want to be aware of. Now, the sales organization should be the fundamental core of what you do. But in order to make the sales organization's job easy, your marketing needs to pre-sell people and brainwash those leads into wanting to show up to the sales calls and wanting to speak to your setters and sales reps without the whole like, who the fuck are you? Why the fuck would I speak to you? The anger, the putting the trauma of the past agency, the past coaching program, the past consulting program, the past whatever past shitty experience they had. They won't put it on you and your company anymore. They will be looking at you as an isolated person who can solve the problems that you guys can solve for them in a way that puts you in a category where you no longer seem like the scam that they might think you are, like the one that they had unfortunately purchased before, but it's actually kind of good for you if you do your job effectively, you actually get results and you aren't a piece of shit. But you're now in a category of one in comparison to the people that they currently work with in the past, because they trust you get results, they trust everything about things that you can do for them before they get to the call, especially in a time right now where we have a really fucking high level and need for trust out there in the market. And if you want your company to hit that, 1 to 3 or even 5 million per year, your sales organization needs to be great, right? Like your sales process needs to be tight as fuck. You need to have a very clear process from lead to call to close, right? But in all three of those areas, you want marketing to make it so people believe all the things that they need to believe before they get to a call with you in such a way where they no longer have all the big questions about you possibly being a scam, about you possibly fucking them over, and about you possibly not being able to actually fulfill on the results that you can get for them. And in the worst case, what happens when you do end up looking at something and not getting the result that they do want in the time frame allocated, and what the worst case possible scenario is for them, and whether they can stomach that at the same time as well. And that's what I want to really make sure that your marketing does from every single part of the process. And that starts at the ad level, right? Now, I have three services, but 2 consulting products. One, you have predictable sales. Right now, this is designed for marketing agency owners who are ideally looking to make sure that they can get sales predictability, right? So it's offer, it's leads, it's fulfillment, making sure that you can actually take clients on and not fuck yourself in some way, shape, or form. And it's making sure that you can enroll people consistently, predictably, with a ability to be able to then have the cash flow to be able to bring in whatever great team you would like, right? So the goal of predictable sales is to help you hit anywhere from 50 to 100K per month, right? A lot of people get to about 30 to 50 and then upgrade into what we have, which is called predictable growth, right? Now, predictable growth is where we love working with people. Predictable growth is for the big dogs and the savages who love going hard, right? And predictable growth is all about operations, team, scaling ads, usually Meta or IG, or in some cases, YouTube, or something to the effect of that as well. And it's all about scaling without you being the fucking bottleneck to get from, maybe 50 grand a month to 1 million or 3 million a year, right? That's the whole purpose of that. In both of these programs, and we also have the agency side as well, is where we actually do this for every fucking industry, but mainly the clients we work with now are just the marketing agency that we work with. But we've done dental in the past, we've done mortgage in the past, we've done contractors in the past, we've done all the goodies. And some of our team right now still do campaigns for contractors, for home services, for real estate, for all the big main agency services that you typically have, even some coaching services and all the goodies that come along that we run paid traffic for. So we're still in the game. We still know what's working. We still know how to actually sell those bigger ticket services to a lot of the actual main local lead generation style customers. But in every product that we have, in every one-to-one consulting and coaching agreement that we have, because that's what we do, we work with them one-to-one, the first thing we work on is what is it that you are actually selling, right? But in order to come to the conclusion on that, we don't start with what you're selling. We start with who are you selling to? More often than not, the issue is that your ads aren't hitting, your content isn't hitting, and you're not getting people showing up in your inbox begging to pay you a lot, PIFs, fuckloads of money, cash up front, 10 to 100 grand in your bank after this call. Because who you're marketing to is not actually the sophisticated version, the rich version of your target market. And in every single client engagement we work with, we work on what's called our offer linking map. Now, offer linking is a marketing mechanism that I created about 4 years ago, kind of on accident, with the intent of taking our whole customer journey and breaking it down into 3 core segments from this is where your customer starts, this is where your customer ends, and these are the 3 main problems that they're experiencing. And then we take each of those and subsect them into 3 micro problems yet again. So I'll walk you through an example in a second. So we have 9 possible types of offers that we can put out at any point in time to be able to get people in to a conversation with you about buying your massively fucking expensive services, because that's what you deserve to sell. And this is the first that we work on with every single client. And the whole idea of doing this is so that you have so many different types of ads to test, so many different types of hooks to test, so many different types of offers to test. If you guys are watching this in 2025, which you'd fucking have to because I'm filming it in 2025, you're watching it in the end of 2025 or 2026, you would know what Andromeda is. And if you don't, you are getting fucked right now. Andromeda is Facebook's new update to the way that they want, or to the way that they're currently placing ads in front of people with the AI sitting inside the actual, like inside the stuff that they use to actually make it all work, right? So the AI they use inside the media buying platform itself. And no longer is it just like, here's your ad, take a new hook, put it at the front, and hope for the fucking best. Like, that doesn't work anymore, right? What does work is different creative variations that are entirely different offers. So I heard this communicated really well recently, where it was like, I love steak. And every single day, I could eat steak all day long. But after a period of time, maybe 5 days, right? After eating steak every day for 5 days, I might get sick of it. I might want something different. I might want something that tastes different to steak. I might want fucking sushi, right? And I will go out and I will crave sushi. And until I get that, the steak's just not tasting as good as it was anymore. It's losing its effect on me. And I don't feel like I give as many fucks about the steak anymore, no matter what result it will get me, no matter what it'll be. And I heard someone communicate to me recently that the Andromeda update on Facebook is kind of like someone who constantly eats the same meal all day, every single day, who is craving a new meal and is currently out there looking for different things that they could possibly eat to satisfy and fulfill on the, desires that they currently have. And Meta's Andromeda update is kind of like a hungry person out there looking for food variety that they can put into their stomach to satisfy and satiate themselves in such a way that make them want to fucking go out there and look for other foods as well. And Meta's Andromeda update is just constantly looking for different types of food all the time relative to your offer. And what we do when we work with someone, the first thing we do within the first 7 days for every single client that we work with is we go and build out their offer linking map, which is where we have your offer, we break it down into the core pillars of it, and we break it down into the core things, the core ingredients that make up the core pillars of the problems that you solve. And we link all of them to your advertising in a way that Andromeda gets the creative, tasty, food-like variations into it to go out there and find the person you fucking want. And the issue is, most people are marketing to the wrong person in their marketing. And as a consequence of that, they're not able to get not only just Andromeda to work in its fucking favor, but get the right people to actually give a fuck about the stuff that you're putting out there. And as a consequence of that, ad costs are rising, you get shitty leads and all the shitty things that come along with that. You're complaining, your sales team complaining, you're fucking, CAC rising or whatever the fuck it is, if that makes sense, right? So we come in and we re-engineer the whole thing for you. And I want to walk you through an example on what that kind of is, right? So I have a client, his name is Tyler. He runs a marketing agency / consulting program. We helped him build a hybrid offer for kind of both of those, which is kind of one of my favorite things to do for outdoor living contractors. If you want to go and check on here somewhere on YouTube, you'll be able to find a case study breakdown that I did with him on how we helped him go from 10K per month to 60K per month in the space of honestly a couple of fucking weeks. But he started with us. He was all organic, right? He had essentially grown, sort of our referrals. And he'd been posting content pretty consistently for a really long time for outdoor living contractors. And, the content was actually pretty good, but it was speaking to a contractor that, in my opinion, was a fucking brokey, right? So essentially talking about lead level problems. So people would come in asking for leads as opposed to an acquisition system or a way to actually be able to save their team from having shitty experiences out there in the market. And as a consequence of them being out there in the market and having shitty experience, they need Tyler to be able to scale them up in a way that would actually make it sustainable, make their sales team really happy, and all the goodies that come along with that as well. And when we first started working with Tyler, we broke down what the offer linking map could look like for him for working with someone who's doing, 400K per month, 400K per year already. We're trying to get to $1 million, right? So we broke down the main core challenges they'd be experiencing. There might be the systems, lead generation, and follow-up, and we broke it down into an actual methodology for him based on the principles that he applies to the way that he gets things done, because he gets in there, and his proprietary stuff also goes way further than just paid advertising. It's also script building, team training, consulting to the offer on fucking mindset, financing, all the good issues that stop a fucking outdoor living contractor from being able to scale to the $1 million a year. And we broke it down into 9 micro offers, little micro offers that we can link back to the core offering, which is why we call it offer linking, right? And all of them hit a different micro subsect of a pain point that someone in that market would want to have a solution to. So we went out there and it was working. It was doing really well. He stopped getting brokies. And that's one of the first things that helped him go from 10 to 60 grand a month. But then we started coming up against a few different problems. He was sort of stuck in fulfillment, and we helped him get out of the day-to-day himself. We helped install a media buyer for him. We helped put in a CSM for him and put him in a position where it was just like him in the best possible scenario to get out there and scale things up again. But we kept coming up against the wall of lack of lead flow. We'd hit the pipeline. We'd run the sales organization play as strong as fucking possible, but we'd hit everything. We had fucking nothing left. We decided to go into paid advertising. And for him, we decided to do lead form ads on Meta. And we eventually ended up going and changing that into a group ad so we could get a conversation happening via call plus a text and a Facebook direct messenger conversation. So you got 3 different places you can get in contact with this lead with, right? And we started running ads with him that were to get the 400K contractor to get them into the desire to want to get to, $1 million plus, if that makes sense. And that was working relatively well. And the avatar was really good for him at that point in time. He was getting a cost to acquire a client of like $200 to $400 week in, week out, right? So like you're at a point where you can scale things up at that point in time. You put $400 in, you're getting anywhere from, 3 to 5K per month back from these people. Like that's a green light. Keep going. In my world, that's amazing, right? But then something else happened, and he started finding out that these people, even at 400K per month, 400K per year, was still not the exact type of person he wanted to work with. And we had to re-engineer all of it again because we now have a setter in. We helped him hire a setter who's a fucking savage, currently booking in 3 to 4 new appointments per day based off the advertising we're currently doing. Tiny budget. We're talking like maybe $170 a day right now, but he's signing up almost a fucking client a day, which is insane. And we decided to start going for people who are already doing $1 million a year who wanted to get to $3 million a year, right? And we started talking about different problems that were relative to sales team problems, organization chart problems with scaling paid ads because these people are already doing some form of paid advertising, but they don't have the ability to scale these things up. And as a consequence of that, the quality of person that was coming through was just way higher. And with the person you have coming through is at a higher level, you typically you don't make sales easier. but you have the ability to be able to get inside their mind with the content you put out and make some form of offer to these people that is at a way higher level of price point that you are naturally used to selling. And as a consequence of that, you can be way more aggressive with the level you can spend at. So before you try to brainwash a lead and try to get them to start wanting to buy, you must make sure you're speaking to someone you actually want showing up on that sales call, who you know will have money, who you know is the rich version, the sophisticated version of the ICP you actually want to have come in. And you must make sure that the things you're putting in your advertising, whether it's a lead magnet funnel or whether it's a direct offer, is directly linked back to the main offer that you want to sell. And you have multiple different variations of ways that you can cut that and slice that and spin that to be able to make sure that Meta's Andromeda gets the fucking creative variation, offer variation, pain point, problem, and solution variation that it needs to see to be able to get people coming in who are the right fit, who actually want what you are selling from the fucking get-go, right? And when we work with someone, within the first 7 days, this is the first thing we work on, and we end up walking out with anywhere from 1 to 9 different types of ads that you can run instantaneously. And myself or the team will typically end up putting you in a position where we actually just launch the fucking ads with you, move it as fast as humanly possible, re-engineer the sales process, and make sure that it works in your favor at the same time as well. But the first thing you need to focus on is making fucking sure that you are talking to the right person who is the right fit for the price point that you want to charge. So you're in a position where you can scale and spend more money to scale, because every time you get $1 back, you are currently in a position where it's 3, 4, 5 times more. You put $1 in, you get $5 back, and you don't fuck yourself by putting brokies into your calendar who can't pay you. And if they do pay you, they churn within 90 days or even less than that, and end up making your life terrible to live with. And you don't want to brainwash that lead. You want to disqualify that lead and get them the fuck out of your world. But to start the brainwashing process, what must be true is you must be speaking to the right person in your marketing from the fucking second that they get to you. And if you don't have that working, it doesn't work for you. Now, one of the things that I always make sure that we work with every client on as well is that paid advertising is just one piece of the puzzle, right? So the ads, getting someone in is just one piece of the puzzle. Now, currently right now, I have anywhere from a 5 to 7 day cash conversion cycle, meaning that I put $1 in on Monday and I can get $3 to $5 back from that same dollar within a 5 to 7 day period. Now, I am wildly grateful for that being the case, but it's not just because we learned how to do fucking 3rd grade math. It's because we learned how to get someone who does come in from that ad level to believe that we are someone who is worthy of speaking to, and believe that we are someone that they should speak to, and believe that we aren't like everyone else out there who's fucked them royally before in a way where they want to hop on a call, they want to pay us, and they want to do it within this time frame in an engineered way where it's not done via a fucking call that they then have to go and think about it, or they sit in the audience and do a bunch of dumb shit and end up going to sign up for someone else and put our ad dollars in a fucking risk of not returning for God knows how long. And if it does, at a way lower ROAS than we'd like it to. So the second thing we focus on after the actual advertising level is making sure that every lead that you get is managed effectively. Because more often than not, when I hear someone say, I need better leads, I need more leads, I need XYZ, what I really fucking hear is like, I need to learn how to make sure that when the leads that I get do come in, supposing you've done the right thing, supposing you're using like something like offer linking, supposing you're not a fucking idiot and talking to a fucking brokey in your marketing, supposing you actually have someone like us on your fucking team who is actually actively out there making sure that you are doing all the right fucking things, supposing you are doing all those things and not fucking them up. What you want to do is make sure that you are hitting all the core things that someone would need to see to believe that you are the right fit for them, that they understand what you do, that they have results that you can you have results that they can attach themselves to, and they're not going to get fucked in some way, shape, or form. And you need to engineer you need to engineer their beliefs and get better engineered leads to believe in you, your service, and themselves being someone that can, succeed in your services, right? Now, again, someone who has a sales team, someone who has run sales teams for the fat end of a decade. I used to put a lot of weight on the sales call. It would turn into an information session. There would be a lot of objections and think about it, and a lot of a fucking annoyed, burnt out sales reps trying to navigate that, or burnt out owners trying to navigate their own sales. The issue isn't that the offer wasn't good or that they weren't a good fit for the offer. It's that they just weren't convinced prior to the call to believe and think that they should pay us money before they get there. And I think a lot of people fall into a rut where they think that they just need to get better at sales. And marketing is actually the fucking problem here, right? And you always end up in a fucking hamster wheel as a consequence of it. It creates a lot of think about it. Again, burnt out sales reps. They always have a lot of questions, concerns, objections. And either they're explicitly bringing them up, if you're lucky, so you can deal with it, or they're keeping it to themselves until they've done all their own internal fucking discernments around you. But the issue is, you have to be on your game. You have to feel your fucking best. You have to run your script. You have to be wildly dialed in to be able to make this work. And more often than not, you don't want to do that. Sure, you're a fucking smart, strong business owner. Your team's smart, strong fucking sales reps, hopefully. And you guys want to get out there and do your fucking best. But more often than not, you guys just want people to show up in fucking laydowns, right? The issue is, you need to make sure that there is a wildly well-engineered process to be able to go from ad through to, DM convo and, or, dial or whatever the fuck it is, the mechanism you guys are using to get in touch with the leads. And then content is the biggest thing, right? So for me, I love grabbing my offer linking map and then getting out there and putting content out every single day that facilitates the education that my ideal clients need based off the objections that they have and the reasons that they would not normally want to purchase from me. So in this scenario, it might be not understanding how our actual offer works, not understanding how it works for their industry, not understanding if they get results, or if we get results for someone directly in the industry as well, not understanding exactly what the onboarding process looks like, not understanding what the first 7 to 21 days looks like, not understanding how quickly they can get results, not understanding all the things that would naturally have someone not want to get started because they just can't see options, or they have a preconceived notion about me, who I am, the services that we have, the type of fucking person that I am, my beautiful Australian accent, the fact that I have fucked up bottom teeth and the internet loves to make fun of them, whatever the fuck that it is that might be, right? And for me, I'll give you an example as to what we do to be able to pre-sell people with the content, right? For example, someone sees our ad. They typically tend to get a playbook from us, right? Now, currently we have a 50K playbook and a 100K playbook that we have out there in the market. These playbooks are designed to walk a prospect through the way we do offer linking, like you're looking through in this video right now, the way we get leads, the way our sales processes work, the way that it's worked for clients in the past. And we give them scripts. We give them like a 21-day get leads process. We give them database reactivation campaigns. We give them fucking everything in this playbook with the intent of walking them through how everything works when they work with us. And it also has some really intentionally engineered things in there that put them in the belief that when I work with this guy, I'm going to get a result, and it kills a fuckload of objections before they get there. And this is objections like, what does it look like in the first 21 days that we work with you? Has it worked for someone just like me before? Do I get to work with the actual owner of the company, or is it just some fucking CSM lackeys who have never built a fucking 7 or 8 figure business themselves? There is a slew of different things that might be in there, and we're just pre-educating them in this asset Now, we don't expect that to be something that everyone looks at and sees as the coup de grace of all the information that they need. We put a shitload of different examples and strategies for them to use in there and explain to them, we do both a combination of ads and content and DM sales and sales calls and sales team building. There's a complete course in there on how to build a fucking world-class team. There's a complete course in there on how to build a 7-figure business and all the goodies that come along with that, with the intent of seeing the number one thing that I get as a fucking objection, which is this dickhead another Miami bro, or is he the real fucking deal with actual data? Can he show me numbers to prove that I can get to 100 grand a month and show me the map and everything within that? And that's the whole purpose of this playbook. It's just evidence building to get someone to see and go, oh, it's dope as fuck. So they now believe that I am not a shit person who's going to fuck them in some way, shape, and form, or at least in the worst case, that if there is the world where they might get fucked, at least what they would learn and have my team do with them would be well worth whatever their perception of getting fucked is. We don't fuck people for reference, but they have the belief that this is at least worth a conversation, right? Now they've got this, and then we go to the direct messenger conversation, right? We have a short script. It's pretty simple. It's like, why do you want to get this? What's the problem you're currently working with? How long has there been a problem for? Are you currently working with an agency coaching program or a mentor in some way, shape, or form to fucking solve the problems you're currently experiencing? Would you like to get some help around that, right? So now I know their problem, where they're at, why they got this thing, and what stage of business they're at. Because in the actual ad, we have a lead form that typically disqualifies people who are under 20 grand a month or whatever the fucking version of the lead we're currently running at that point in time is. But we've got a qualified lead there. We have someone that naturally we've found out what they want, who they are, where they're at. And because we run the offer linking process and know if someone says that they are currently experiencing a leads issue, that it's going to come from a bad offer, bad advertising, or a fucking bad follow-up process. If they then tell me or my team that they got the 50K playbook because they can't get the content, they can't get the leads, and what's been happening for fucking years, we now know 3 things we can back that up with and say, yo, okay, cool. That's really common. Tyler had this same problem, or Savannah had this same problem, or whatever the fuck it is. We'll shoot over a voice note to these people, right? With the intent of finding out where they're at, where they want to be, why they aren't already way fucking richer right now. And we can start putting together as many different intentional pieces of content, case studies, carousels, reels, posts that we've put out over the past period of time, with the intent of peppering them through the sales process, right? So at the end of the direct messenger conversation, it's usually one of 2 ways that we go. It's either a triage call or an application, depending on if we have a setter that's on and available right there and then, or we go to application and just disqualify it to see if that's actually not going to be something they can actually get the help for. And then we typically, after looking through the application or the triage call, now we have a breakdown of all the problems they're truly experiencing. But on the triage call, we're also asking about all the objections that they may naturally give us, which is about our service and us, about timing, money, decision ability for the authority, right? And then the budget that they have and all the goodies that come around with this, so that we can start feeding them pieces of content to overcome the objections that we know we're going to get on that sales call, right? Which is, authority. Do you have a business partner? If not, cool. You need to bring that if you do, you need to bring that person in. You need to send them this thing to read first. I need you both to be in a group chat for me to communicate with you guys and find out, do you guys feel like this would be the right fit for you or not before we hop on that fucking call? Because if it isn't, then we're going to be in a bad position or in a bad position, wherever the fuck it is that it might be. So we want to make sure that we're feeding them the right content prior to the call that naturally kills the main objections that we're going to expect before they get there. And we're speaking to them in the DMs after they've had that triage call or submitted the application. And we're feeding them pieces of content to get to the point where we ask the question of, does this seem like the type of thing that would be a good fit for you based on what you've seen so far and the type of results that we get and the things that we send across? When they say yes, then we take the sales call. We've already got them to agree to all the things we need them to agree with prior to the call, with the intent of being able to actually get them on there wanting to find out how to would specifically work for their situation, but they are not there looking to fucking they are not there looking to find out what we do, if that makes sense, right? They already know what we do. They don't know how it works. They've already killed most of the main objections and stuff we're doing there. So by the time they get to the call, we're in a great position, right? So a lot of the things we send across are like, as I was saying before, we have the two main programs that we sell, and then we have the agency, right? So we've got predictable sales and predictable growth. And we just have something in there that really clearly articulates, for predictable sales, it's like getting great results for your clients, getting clients, building a great offer, fixing up your pipeline, building some predictability in, making sure that they understand that they get help from us directly, one-to-one. People who have done seven and multi-seven figures for fucking years, they work with a one-to-one coach themselves. They work with me. They get weekly one-to-one calls. They get launch calls to launch their ads. They get everything they need to be able to hit 50 or 100 grand a month. And then there's predictable growth, which is a little bit of a longer container. It's 6 months long, designed to get one-to-one support from me directly to help them hit 100 to 300K per month, where they just have access to my calendar. You can book in whatever the fuck you want. We're working on operations, on systems, on finance, on ads and funnels, on team leadership, growing without ruining your life. Like I said, you get the opportunity to book in directly with me to make it really easy, so you don't have to fucking sit on a fucking group call, which we do have though. We have 5 current sessions per week where we're walking through what's currently working inside someone's business, doing anywhere from 50 to 300K per month. We help, we help launch your new offer. We help do the offer linking map. We help map out the funnel that will work best for you. Currently, the 3 that are working the best that we're seeing are currently just the group funnel, which is still crushing, the DM ads for IG, or funnily, it's actually a sneaky group funnel that's actually a webinar funnel, which is working really, 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 really well as well. We help launch that. We help bring new team in for you, like media buyers, virtual assistants, CSMs, setters, closers, my team, my closing team, my CSM team, my operations team, my media team, my setting team will train your team. They can go to them. They get direct access to them. They can ask as many questions as they want. And it's a massive one-to-one program to help you get out of the day-to-day and help big dogs move even faster than they've ever considered in the past, and also overcome a lot of the fucking mindset bullshit that you're actually experiencing as well. But we want to make sure that you know that if you're a little bitch and you don't think it will work for you, or you don't want to do the work, we tell you up front that there is no guarantee of success. But we also educate people on what good success looks like in our program, right? Like, you have to put your ass in the line every single day, blood, sweat, and tears. You're gonna have to take responsibility and make sure that you are responsible for your own business. We will step in and build a thing with you. We will do the launch calls one-to-one. It's usually me and you on a call, or you and my fucking right-hand man Faris on a call, who's built his own fucking 7-figure agency. You've got Victor, who's done 500 grand a year in his agency. All these people who are currently fucking, and Kyle, who is also 7-figure sales, but 50K per month agency as well, with the intent of these guys all hopping on calls to help you in all the different areas of your business. But it's your own fucking problems that you have to deal with at the end of the day, right? And like, you need to own it. We're not going to come and save you, but we have everything we do to hop on a call and actually work through this stuff one-to-one with you and your team. Look through your finances, look through your data, look through your numbers. And we want people to know that prior to the call, right? We want them to be so wildly aware as to all the things that they are going to be getting before they get to the call. So when they get this, like, I already know what I want, right? As an example, I was chatting, or like, I was on a call with a client yesterday who runs like a leadership. He runs two offers actually. One is an advertising agency, and the other is like a leadership and men's development program. That they both work hand in hand, because the people that he works with in the advertising agency are usually like high 7 or 8 figure business owners. They're usually men that are kind of stuck because they suck at home in their leadership, and all the goodies that come along with that as well. And yesterday I was on a call with him. We mapped out a whole new offer to launch to just this market that actually he'll end up getting more agency clients too, to add an additional 7 figures for him at a bare minimum next year, and to get him moving even faster, because he's a badass motherfucker already. But like, We just built the campaign out. We built the offer page out. We built out the fucking everything that was needed to be able to actually get the results from the second that he left the call, so that he didn't have to think anymore, right? It's like campaigns were done, email sequences were done, ads were done, and he was in a position where he could just fucking move really fast, right? And that's the level of speed we want to have with every single client. We want you guys to understand how to communicate the same thing to your market, right? Get them to understand how quickly they're going to get results, what it looks like, how to actually perform as a great client for you, how to disqualify shitty clients and everything else too, right? And to be able to do that, we have like 150 fucking SOPs that literally just map all that shit out for you, right? Across every area of the business. We're talking offers, marketing, advertising, sales, appointment setting, operations, team, finance, all the goodies to be able to actually just install into your business to make it easy for your team to run shit, and then be able to also give you everything that worked for us for our own agency and everyone on our team who currently runs an agency still, what's working for them, for their clients in the offers that they are currently charging anywhere from 5 to 7K per month for. And you get access to all that when you work with us, right? And I'll just, if we don't have it, we'll typically fucking build it for you, if that makes sense. With the intent of like showing your ideal clients how much value they get when they work with you in the shortest time frame possible, but also knowing that it is a long-term thing that they must buy into, right? They need to be buying into the fact that they want to work with you for 12 to 18 months from the day that they start with you, as opposed to the fucking dumb shit that some people do, which is like the month to month or whatever else it is as well. You might be able to do month to month, but you want people to buy into a long-term perspective, right? And it's this, the fact that you can get someone to pay you way more and stay for a way longer time because they're bought into that because of all the pre-call content and because they understand all that stuff well before it, that has our clients make 7 and multi-7 figures a year because we have a formula for it. We know what it does when you get this shit right. We know how to make it work for everyone in a one-to-one level. And you get access to us directly to be able to make that work for you and look over the shit that isn't working for your team or your clients. And that's why it works. You get to keep clients for longer because everything happening on the front end of your marketing, in your content, and everything that's happening in the actual sales process that we help engineer with you guys is designed to get people to want to buy from you for a really long fucking time and kill all the objections that they might be experiencing before they get there. So when they do get to a call, they might pay you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, even 100 grand straight up front, maybe have 1 to 2 questions. And that's what we'll help you do, right? Like, it's like, it just becomes way fucking easier when people show up already knowing what's going on. We manufacture that. So it's not it's not a guessing game for your prospects anymore. They actually already know what's going to happen. They already know why they should work with you, why you are different. And the content you put out every single day, you start naturally manufacturing the direct messenger and sales process conversation around, which is the last thing we work on with people. It is like most people just try and fucking have a combo with people in Messenger and try to get them to book in for a call. Where they get it wrong, right, is like every part of that conversation is an opportunity for you to put in something really fucking small to be able to answer some of these questions. So prospects, right? You find out their problem, you find out their goal, and you find out why they aren't there right now, right? Every time you get a response to that, you can say, problem, cool, yeah, we've sold that for clients like Tyler. The goal, yeah, that's 2 of our clients most recently just hit those. And the reason they aren't kind of there right now, it's like, well, this is the exact thing we solve for our clients with. And here is 3 examples of that. I'll just show you them. Let me send them across to you. You're sending little content pieces that are already naturally designed to kill these objections with the intent of making it so that by the time these people even book the triage call or fill an application out, after they've already seen either a playbook or an ad that specifically directly relates back to one of the main core problems that you might be experiencing, or sorry, that they might be experiencing that you can possibly help with, they now go, fuck, this is going to be great, right? And you're peppering through all these little micro things that would actually make it so that there's less questions sitting inside their mind. And we'll just build this out for you, the actual sales process part, because by the, you go from ad through to messenger or DM or text or dial. It can all be the exact same. You just engineer it the exact same way, actually. Then it's like pre-call stuff. So for us, before we even take a triage call, right, we always ask like how much you know about us and the results we get for our clients. And based on whatever answer we get, we know what to send across to these people, and we help make sure that you have either an offer document, some case studies, or something really particular to be able to send across to them. So before they even get the triage call, which is where we find out the main objections you're going to expect, which is money, time, authority, budget, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to which, again, you can either communicate to them the answers to that stuff in that call or send them pre-call, everything that's going to happen to be able to have them understand, like, you know, what is it like over the 12 to 18 months? Why am I working with you 12 to 18 months? What does it look like over that period of time? Can you show me examples of what that looks like? And you can send them across a document, you know, a micro VSL or whatever else that it is, but it's very intentionally designed. So you have something specifically for each of the main avatar types you will have come in, and you manufacture the sales process that by the time they get to that sales call, you've already done so much upfront work that has them believe that you can help them, that they have the right person in front of them, and that you actually have solutions to the problems or objections that they may naturally have that they gave you in Messenger, on the triage call, in the application. And they can see that there are already options to finance, to funding, to, you know, what happens in the first 7 days for them to be able to get cash back, or whatever else that it is that would normally stop someone from wanting to normally purchase. You've already pre-sold them on options and solutions to all these things, so that by the time you get to that call, as long as you actually just get really clear for them on the plan for them in particular and ask them to work with you, the only reason they wouldn't is because of just trying to move money around. I had a couple of people this past week who opened up a new Amex, right? They opened up the new Amex Gold to pay us in full. And the whole purpose was so they could actually get the points, right? So like we had to wait like 14 days to get payment. But we got everything we wanted from them, right? So like it was a financial logistic issue. It had nothing to do with them not being able to or them not wanting to. We just mapped out a plan on them getting that fucking Amex Gold. They got it. They ended up getting enough points to be able to do a return trip to Dubai with the intent of being able to actually make this work for them. And it actually ended up being way easier for them to get started because they saw something that was really exciting at the same time as well. And one of the cool things within that is that when you get people who only have financial logistic issues and you know the ways to get good funding for them and all the things that come along with that too, it becomes way easier to get people to buy because it's no longer about whether they trust you, no longer about whether they actually want to work with you, no longer about any of the things that would stop someone from normally wanting to buy because of all the trust association and the goodies around that as well. And when you work in that scenario, your sales organization does not have to work anywhere near as hard. And it feels like you are brainwashing fucking leads, but your sales team will love you because they actually have leads who have shown up, who actually already want to work under the circumstances that you currently have, who already know the way that it works and already know the way that they can get results just like the people you've worked with in the past. They just want a clear plan for themselves. So when you work with me, that's what I hope you do, right? And when you have that happen, life just moves way faster. Money just comes in way quicker. And predictability is something that's actually within reach for you, if that makes sense. Where most people suffer is they just don't have a plan like this in place. And when you don't have a plan like this in place, you have to deal with the shitty objections. You have to deal with the hardcore sales. You have to deal with everything most people don't want to deal with. And I just decided I didn't want to deal with that shit anymore. And if you feel like you don't want to deal with that shit anymore, somewhere below here, there'll be a link to book in with the calendar for me. Everything that we do is already peppered through this video. I've been using this whole fucking video to also do the brainwashing myself. There's another video below that will show you the exact map as to how we get results and everything else too. And if you'd like to apply to work with me in either predictable sales or predictable growth, please do so. I've been talking for a real long fucking time. I'm getting out of fucking breath. There's someone at the door waiting for me, so I'm going to fuck off. By the time I open that door, you should have already booked in for a fucking call, and you should be ready to get started because you know we'll be able to help you too. Appreciate you. Let's get fucking rich, and I'll speak to you all soon. Peace.